Hey, hey, hey. Thank you to all of you who have given me feedback and shared challenges and questions about developing your brands. I promised I'd be giving up the goods this week, and I'm back to deliver on the promise. So make sure you watch all the way through. I'll have a freebie for you to make this concept actionable. And we're going to get into the number one most important thing that brands need to create legacy. So, you guys are with me because you want to be on the fast track, right? So that's what we're all about this week. I'm not here to give you the fluff. I have had the opportunity to work with international grassroots and public figures to see what works, to understand what works. And hands down, every single one that has exceeded their goals are the ones who put in the work to go beyond the surface and to make sure that they understand the traits of those that are most likely to be their loyal customers, and they understood how to connect with them. So today I'm talking to you about how to address this properly. And with that, let's get right to the point. So, the number one most important thing any brand needs to do to set themselves up for brand legacy is to get clear on their core consumer. You might have heard this before, who is your target audience, right? I have coined this the core consumer for a particular reason. This is the person who is most likely to be your repeat customer. They're most likely to brag about what you've done for them. They're most likely to send you new business, right? They might be a funnel for you, having a new fan base, a growing fan base. The importance on this specificity is very often overlooked. And doing that results in inefficiently spent energy, money, money left on the table. But oh no, not your table, at least not anymore, if that's been happening for you. We don't want that. No, we don't. So let's talk about this core consumer. They are committed to an outcome resolved by your expertise. Okay? A core consumer are the people who you want to attract and are who you will speak to. Of course, there are plenty who will see your business or your artwork. They're going to hear about what you have to offer, but what you're offering and what you're delivering is not for everyone. It's not for everyone. It's not for everyone. If you're operating in a way where your service, your talents is for everyone, I would caution you. And not to say that everyone cannot have access to it. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about making sure that you know the difference between everyone and those who are most likely to be loyal and repeat. Okay? So your core audience are the people who are most likely to take the action you want them to take, whether that's to buy, to book an appointment, to subscribe or follow you. And you can bet that when you get it right, those who are your most ideal prospects will be drawn to you. And if you deliver on what you promise, they will stay with you. So, understanding your core consumers will connect you to the most likely to not only need what you are offering, but appreciate the way you deliver on it. That's what brand is about. That's your brand style. Okay. So, if you've been doing your thing for a while, you have access to some highly valuable data. You want to consider the traits of your most loyal fans. If you've been doing this for a while, you know who they are. Even if you haven't taken the time to dig into it, you know who they are specifically, right? Whether they're loyal fans, clients, customers, or partners. If you are new and you're exploring, you'll have to work off of educated assumptions. And over time, you will verify data based off of the engagement that you have with them, the servicing, the interviewing, the surveying. So, where do you start? You start with the basics. Okay. So now, if you are just wrapping your mind around marketing, this will be a major key epiphany. If you're a marketing head, so to speak, then you know this, and I'm here to remind you to use what you know with some insights that I'll share that might be refreshing for you. So, first thing is knowing where to fish, right? So, if you're going fishing, then you know where to fish. The answer would obviously be the ocean or the lake. So, follow me on this, okay? You also need to know what fish you're looking for and where to find them. If it's salmon, you know you can find them in freshwater or the ocean. If it's cod, you know you got to go to the deep waters. You probably want to make sure you're in the best region to increase your success rate. Now, what's the best way to catch the fish you're looking for? You'll do best probably finding salmon early in the morning, just before the sunrise, and late in the evening, just after the sunset, right? That's for the best salmon fishing. Don't ask me why. I know this is my husband's fault. Following the phases of the moon, even can come into play, right? And high and low tide are something that you would want to consider to enhance the opportunity for catching the fish. So your cod, you'll do best at night, probably with a little jigging, okay? And of course, you got to think about the best tools that you're going to use to get the job done. What's the best bait? What type of line and hook would work best for catching the type of fish that you're looking for? All right, done with that, right? So the same considerations apply for snagging your core consumers. What waters should you be fishing in? How are you most likely to be visible to them and grab their attention and rope them in, right? Okay. You narrow it down by looking at two specific categories of things: demographics and psychographics. You're looking at demographics for group identifiers. This is the fit, this is the pool, this is the ocean or the lake, right? This is the expansion. So, this is what's going to help you to identify the broad spectrum of where to find the fish: age, marital status, sex, region, education, income, profession, whatever is relevant for you, right? You're looking at psychographics for personal interests. And these are the distinctions that get you closer to your core consumers. These are, you're talking about interests, activities, habits, values, opinions. They are also the clue for how and where to catch them. Okay. Now, this is relevant for you whether you are a service business, a product manufacturing brand, um, an artist, an author. These very specific data points are going to be magnificently important for you in creating your legacy, understanding and putting it to work, right? Okay, so now that you've identified the pool of data that is specific to who your most loyal consumers are and who they're likely to be, you need to break that down into something real. So, this is where we're talking about your core consumer profiles, okay? Identify one core consumer and break down that core consumer into a profile. Who are the top 3 people you'll be catering to? 3 is a great number because it helps you to not go too far off in the distance, or to make sure that you're not overlapping too much on those core consumer types. Okay, so think of the top 3 people you'll be catering to. Turn them into profiles to get specific and to help you to visualize who they are. Use their demographic and their psychographic information. You want to lay it out, include what they want to accomplish that you can help them solve. take it a few steps further from there now. Once you've got that done, what are they most likely to do in a typical day or week? Paint that picture. That's where we really dive into the consumer stories. Where or how are they most likely to be engaged by you? What types of events, groups, blogs, social media, SMS, email, right? That's what we talked about before. Create a core consumer story where you're talking about um, their situations, their desires, their challenges, their aspirations, and get into their misconceptions. Really dig what are the misconceptions that they have as it relates to what you're offering, and how will they feel. Lay out those storyline for each of your persona profiles. You're not writing a book here, but you are taking a moment to think from the perspective of your target. Okay. So, creating a persona story is a standard way to express a specific outcome that your core audience desires. And this is going to give you a clear focus on how to address your core audience's interests, and allows a really great point of reference for you and your team to understand who you're servicing and how to approach them. So, let me give you an example to help make this a little bit more tangible. Case in point, we've got the Yoga Oasis Studio. Okay, the Yoga Oasis Studio prides themselves on the details of yoga form. Although, of course, their doors are open to all yogis, their core consumer, the one that's most likely to be repeat visitor, is one that is already practicing yoga and wants to further develop their practice specifically by getting into the details. So, in this instance, Elastic Elijah is one of their core persona profiles. And here's how his story and loyalty to Yoga Oasis connects. Follow me, right? So, Elijah is committed to his yoga practice. He wants to make sure he perfects the details of practice that will lead to exceptional form. Okay. He really likes to dig into the details. He's like, how can I get this right to get my flexibility to improve and get stronger? He found out about Yoga Oasis Studio when one of their instructors was featured on his favorite meditation podcast, right? So he finally decided to check them out after he signed up for their wellness tips and to receive promotional discount information via email. Okay. So that was him listening to his favorite meditation podcast. He heard from an instructor at the studio, and he was impressed, and he said, "You know what? I'm going to sign up to get their tips and their promotions." So we got on their email list. Okay? And then shortly after, what happened was he got a promo for a 5-class package in his email, and he took the bait. It was a great opportunity for him to test out the studio. It was a great discount, was giving him what he was looking for, and he did it. He took on the 5 packages, and he got there and he had a great experience. They delivered on what they said they were going to deliver on, and now he's a loyal customer. So when you have this kind of clarity on the people most likely to be your core consumers, you're armed to best connect with them. You also have the advantage on how to make product and service improvements that will keep them excited and satisfied. When you have a loyal customer, when you have any customer, a new customer that comes through the door, it is your duty. It serves you best to engage with them and understand what they like, what they don't like, so that you can better service them. And it all becomes a part of improving your brand identity and your brand strategy. All right. So much for the misconception that branding is simply about pretty visuals or that brand development doesn't affect the bottom line. It is a holistic effort. Yes, clarifying your core and knowing how to connect with them is just the tip of the iceberg with brand development, but it is the glue that makes the rest of your branding efforts work. So, to make it easy for you to knock out all that we've just talked about with the clarification of your core, And to help you create your personas, I've got a bonus for you. So the Identify Your Core Consumer Worksheet, it super simplifies the process that we just discussed, and it allows you to get to the details, get it all out of you and your team's head and into a referenceable document. So follow the directives in the caption to get access to the Identify Your Core Consumer Worksheet right away. It's quick download. There's a brief video just to remind you of all that the purpose is here and how to use it. And let me know what you think. I hope that it's going to be unbelievably helpful for you in just getting a little bit more clarity on who you're speaking to. So continue to stay tuned, fam. In the next video, I'll get into how to apply that highly valuable core consumer data to your strategy development, right? Because remember, it's not just about having the data and, oh, this is wonderful. Now you got to use it and put it to work. So I'll include further clarification on how to get from point A to point B in developing your brand for legacy. These are such important distinctions that will get you on the fast track to brand strategy development. I'm going to be talking about the things that help with alleviating that overwhelm of approaching, brand strategy development, and that kind of like helpless feeling of shooting from the hip. Oh, how it feels like wasting time, because time is so precious in your seat. It is so precious. So that's the goal here. So holla back. Let me know if you found this useful, and make sure to share this information with any business owners, creatives, anyone who is in business for themselves and are looking to get to the next level of their business. Please share this with them. Creatives, solopreneurs, freelancers, small business owners who are working to grow their brand. And until we meet again,